Lead makeup. In ancient Egypt, lead-based cosmetics were used to create the iconic dark eye look seen in tomb paintings. While visually striking, these substances were highly toxic, slowly poisoning those who wore them daily. The belief at the time was that such makeup could ward off evil spirits and even protect against eye infections. In reality, prolonged exposure caused severe health issues, including nerve damage. This early blend of beauty and danger set a precedent for centuries of hazardous cosmetic practices that prioritized appearance and superstition over safety.
Wigs. During the 17th century in Europe, wigs became a symbol of status and cleanliness, especially in places like France and England. Ironically, they rose to popularity because of widespread lice infestations and poor hygiene. People would shave their heads to deal with lice and then wear elaborate wigs made from human or animal hair. These wigs were often powdered with substances that attracted pests and masked unpleasant odors. Over time, they became breeding grounds for lice and disease, turning a supposed solution into another hidden health hazard beneath aristocratic fashion.
Wallpaper. In 18th and 19th century homes, vibrant green wallpaper became fashionable due to its rich color derived from arsenic-based pigments. While visually appealing, these wallpapers released toxic fumes, especially in damp conditions. Families unknowingly inhaled arsenic particles daily, leading to symptoms like headaches, nausea, and even death. Children were particularly vulnerable, sometimes chewing on the decorative walls. The connection between the wallpaper and illness was not immediately understood, making it one of the more insidious examples of how design trends once carried serious, invisible dangers.
Matches. Early friction matches introduced in the 19th century revolutionized fire starting but came with a devastating cost. Workers in match factories were exposed to white phosphorus, a toxic substance that caused a condition known as phossy jaw. This disease led to severe jawbone decay, chronic pain, and disfigurement. Despite the suffering of workers, production continued due to high demand. It took public outcry and worker strikes to eventually ban the use of white phosphorus, leading to safer alternatives. The convenience of matches was built on a foundation of industrial exploitation and human suffering. Canned food. When canned food became widespread in the early 1800s, it was hailed as a breakthrough in food preservation. However, early cans were sealed with lead solder, which contaminated the food inside over time. Explorers and soldiers relying on canned supplies often suffered from unexplained illnesses, later linked to lead poisoning. One famous example includes Arctic expeditions, where crews showed symptoms of mental and physical decline. While canning technology improved, its early history reveals how innovation without proper safety understanding can quietly endanger lives. Children's toys. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, many children's toys were made using toxic materials such as lead paint and mercury. Brightly colored toys were especially dangerous, as the pigments often contained harmful chemicals. Children, who frequently put toys in their mouths, were at high risk of poisoning. At the time, there were few regulations to protect consumers, and awareness of these dangers was minimal. What appeared to be innocent playthings were, in reality, sources of serious health risks that could affect development and long-term well-being. Radium watches. In the early 20th century, glow-in-the-dark watches were made using radium, a radioactive element. Factory workers, many of them young women, were instructed to lick their paintbrushes to create fine tips, unknowingly ingesting radium daily. Over time, they developed severe radiation poisoning, with symptoms including bone fractures and jaw deterioration. These workers became known as the Radium Girls, and their suffering led to landmark labor rights cases. The watches themselves were seen as marvels, but their production revealed a tragic disregard for human safety. Plastic. Plastic emerged in the early 20th century as a revolutionary material, offering durability and versatility. However, its dark side lies in its environmental impact. Early plastics were celebrated without consideration for their long-term persistence in nature.
Over decades, plastic waste accumulated in oceans and landfills, breaking down into microplastics that now infiltrate ecosystems and even human bodies. The convenience of plastic has come at a global cost, creating one of the most pressing environmental crises of modern times, rooted in its seemingly harmless beginnings. Fast food. Fast food became popular in the mid-20th century as a symbol of efficiency and modern living. Behind its convenience lies a darker origin tied to industrialized food systems. Mass production prioritized speed and cost over nutrition, leading to heavily processed meals high in fats, sugars, and additives. Over time, this contributed to rising rates of obesity, heart disease, and other health issues worldwide. The fast food model also influenced labor practices and agricultural systems, embedding long-term consequences into what began as a simple solution for quick meals. Smartphones. Smartphones, a defining tool of the 21st century, have origins tied to complex global supply chains and resource extraction. The materials used, such as cobalt and rare earth elements, are often mined under harsh and exploitative conditions. In some regions, child labor has been documented in mining operations. Additionally, the rapid upgrade cycle contributes to electronic waste, much of which ends up in developing countries. While smartphones connect the world, their hidden origins reveal ethical and environmental challenges embedded in modern technology.